So when you go fishing, it's not just a tug of war between you and that fish. It's a battle for life and death. It's a fight for oxygen and energy. I ran this 400 so I could feel the progression. All right, are we ready? Runners to your mark. It's set. Come on. You just hooked the fish. It's the one that's best to get away from you. It's running and jumping. It's got about 10 seconds free energy. That phosphocreatine zone's done. It's starting to feel the transition. Maggie's that pike, waiting to attack you. All right, fish is starting to feel it. It's came to your net. You've missed it. It's swimming away. One last boost. You don't have much left. It's completely petered out. It's shifted to glycolysis. You're pulling just to wait. Shifting to anaerobic. Holy. You lift it up with your net. Whew. I can't hold my breath for more than a couple seconds. That's what the fish is experiencing. Whew. Holy cow. So what happened? You raised it up, get a picture of it, couldn't breathe. Why can't it breathe? It's in air, 21% oxygen. Used to living in water, less than 1% oxygen. This is why it does that, right here. When the fish is in water, its lamellae are neutrally buoyant. Water's going around them, a lot of surface area. Takes up that little bit of oxygen in the water. 12 parts per million on a good day, 4 or 5 on a bad. When you pull them out of the water, they collapse and can no longer pull out oxygen. We got 10 seconds-ish of phosphocreatine. That's that free energy. Take off, they feel strong, ripping your drag out, running upstream. That quickly runs out. They shift to anaerobic glycolysis using glucose as energy source. Byproduct of that, lactate, hydrogen ions. So the 200, 300 mark, they're burning through that glucose. Their fins, my legs start getting heavy. As that energy runs out, it's completely gone. Fish rolls over. You scoop it up in the net. This is where everything changes. Fish their white muscle isn't highly vascularized. So when that lactate and hydrogens leak out, hydrogen ions, it pulls up around them muscles. And it's just a poison. After a fight, less than a minute, 12 to 24 hours to get rid of it. So when you fight a fish to exhaustion, when it rolls over on its side and you let it go, after you take a picture of it for a minute, I couldn't hold my breath for 5 seconds. Could you imagine being that wore out, trying to hold your breath for a minute while you're trying to get a hook out? So, am I against catch and release? Absolutely not. I've done the research. I ran bootstrapping statistics through an analysis of variance, and I found that once you fillet a fish out, there's 0% chance it's gonna make it. So even though you may not have the best methods and you wear that fish out, if you turn it loose and other conditions are right, it may make it. Am I against collecting or harvesting fish? No, not against that either. Nothing like a good fish fry, some tartar sauce, maybe some cocktail sauce. Yeah, so as long as it's legal, you have one that you've wore out, keep it, put it on a stringer, take it home and eat it. What you can do to minimize impacts to the fish, so when you do release it, it's good to go. First of all, when you're fishing in an area, have the tackle that you can play them quick. You get them within that 10 seconds. When they come at you the first time in between that shift from phosphocreatine to glycogen, get them netted, all right? Get that hook out, use a barbless hook, get them back in the water, hold them up for a split second to get a good video and a picture, get them turned loose, get them back in that water. You don't want them to suffocate. Next thing is temperature. When it's hot like this, Steve's sweating. Fish can't sweat, obviously, but the killer for trout is that once they reach 65 degrees, their hemoglobin in their blood, the red blood cells, lose their affinity to take up oxygen. So even though there may be tons of oxygen in the stream, if it's hot, their hemoglobin won't attach to it and take it through their body. So quit fishing when it gets 68 degrees. Same thing with pH. When we work this, that lactic acid drops the pH of your blood. It also impacts the ability of hemoglobin to take up oxygen. So it's like a double whammy. You got warm temperatures, you drop the pH in their bloodstream because you fought it too long, that fish don't have much of a chance. They could put them back in plenty of oxygen, but they just can't take it up. So they basically suffocate in the world of oxygen. So here's the key points. Whenever you hook a fish and you get it in, keep it wet. Unhook it in the net and then hold it up for a quick picture and then release it as soon as you can. And if you do that, your hands will already be wet, so we can mark that one off the list. When you go to buy a net, buy one that's rubberized and not just a knotted nylon string. That kind of is more abrasive on the fish. The rubberized ones are a lot better. When you're taking that killer photo, getting that hero shot, hold the fish horizontally. Don't hold it by the mouth and lock the jaws open. Release the fish under its own power. If you can, move it into a place where it has water flowing over the gills. Don't run it backwards and forth. Probably the most important, know your species, know what temperature they stress that at. And when they reach that temperature, just stop, because it really makes it hard for them to consume oxygen when their hemoglobin doesn't pick it up. So if you hook one deep, cut that line. That fish will pass a hook, and I have seen it in real world situations, a fish getting ready to pass a hook. Know what's in the area, select your tackle accordingly. It doesn't hurt to have bigger tackle and horse that fish in so you can get it released sooner. That's the more ethical thing to do. One of the best things you can do to ensure a good catch and release, fight the fish fast. Get it in under 10 seconds and then get it unhooked, quick picture and release it.